up on Michigan Replay. Michigan rises up in East Lansing and knocks off the Spartans. We'll have the highlights. And we'll look ahead as we scout the run-happy Gophers of Minnesota, who are Michigan's homecoming foe next week. All that and more coming up next. Michigan Replay with Lloyd Carr is brought to you in part by Pepsi. It's the Cola. By Chevrolet. Chevy drives the Motor City. See your Detroit area Chevy dealers today or log on to DetroitAreaChevyDealers.com. By LaSalle Bank. Proud to support the University of Michigan football program. LaSalle Bank, making more possible. And by Big Boy Restaurants. Big Boy makes you say, oh boy.
Did here today. Man up. You know, I'm an old man. Man up, boy. I promise you, man up. As long as I live, I'll never forget what you did here today.
Well, that's what you get, a Michigan Replay exclusive inside the locker room after an unbelievable 34-31 Michigan victory in overtime over Michigan State in East Lansing. Got kind of emotional in that locker room. That was a huge win for this team, wasn't it?
Well, it was all that and more, Jim.
Talk to me about how you said after the game, you said, and we heard you, you talked about how you'll never forget this win, this victory, as long as you live, because of what the team had been through the previous week after the loss to Wisconsin. Showed some character, and they proved something to a lot of people with that victory over Michigan State.
Well, Jim, they really did. I mean, it's tough when you're coming off a loss. We've had a couple of them that have been tough. And these guys just continue to fight, and that's all you can ask for as a coach. We played an extremely talented Michigan State team. We went in and they played their hearts out.
I can't remember a game either with the ups and downs for both sides, where you think you got it in your favor and then it goes the other way. Do you remember one like that?
Well, I think what my take on that game is it's always hard fought. It's not always the best played game, but emotionally and from an intensity standpoint, it's hard to match the Michigan State game.
Talk to me about your emotions as that kick finally went through in overtime.
Well, you know, I got as far down the field, I wanted to see the back side of the play. And,
you're still coaching all the way to the end, weren't you?
Yeah, but, well, not really, because I knew Garrett Rivas was a pressure guy, and I was just concerned because Michigan State brought all 11 guys. There was some penetration. They got high in the air, but he got that ball up high enough. I just wondered at one point if it was going to be long enough. Well, thank goodness it was.
It was. When we come back, we'll take a look at the highlights, but first we hear from Willis Behringer, talking about the defensive game plan against the Spartans was pretty basic.
Well, we just came in with a great game plan. The coaches just kept saying, well, we got to run to the ball, execute our technique as best we can. We just went out there and played football.
A lot of guys stepped in there, stepped up, and played well today. And, I mean, I just went through my reads, and whoever's open, I try to give them the ball.
Well, this game, when it opened up, everybody felt the offenses would take control. It was going to be kind of a track meet. And the first half, it really was. And Michigan got off to a tremendous start. Had to be your best start of the season.
Jim, we came up with a great stop on their first drive, which was critical because they elected to receive the kickoff. If you had told me it was going to be a high-scoring game, I would have felt like it was going to be hard for us to win. But our offense played lights out, and our defense came up with a lot of big stops.
Well, this is their first series. And
well,
you didn't let Stanton hurt you with his feet.
You know, Jim, we had great backside rotation. We didn't let them outside the defense. Tim Massey and Rondell Biggs there come up with a big sack, and we get the ball down on our own 2-yard line. And this was the biggest play of a great drive that allowed us to at least exert some control of the game in the first quarter.
Nice to have Mike Hart back, and then you pull some razzle-dazzle where you put Antonio Bass in the game to take the snap.
Well, that's a big play there. 3rd down and 5, and Antonio goes in and comes up with a 1st down. And then for a 2-yard touchdown, this is a great execution of the fade. Jason makes a great catch. And you want to go in there and try to get off to a good start. That's one of the things we talked about during the week, and we certainly did that.
And here again, their next possession, you with the lead, you will not let Stanton hurt you with his feet.
Well, he's not outside the defense here now. I mean, he's well behind the line of scrimmage, but we get another stop. So the first 2 times they had the ball, we get the ball back. Here I thought Terry Malone made a great call. Hard play action on 2nd and 1. Gets the defense up in there, and he hits Mario Manningham for the touchdown.
At that point, you've got a 14-0 lead, and you've kind of taken the crowd out of the game, and yet you know, I think, that State can come back.
Well, we knew this was a 4-quarter game, but here, a well-designed play. It starts to roll out to the left, but Willis Behringer and Brandon Engelman, our 2 safeties, I thought they were outstanding today. They get down in the red zone and run the keeper, the quarterback, off the option play, and now it's 14-7.
14-7 at that point. Then you get a big defensive play on one of their trick plays.
Well, we had great contain there, and Willis Behringer came up. I'm going to have some ball handling drills for Willis, but I'll tell you, he stayed home. That was a halfback pass, and they made a mistake, and Willis came up with a big play.
Then you go to Jason Avant here on another nice drive.
Just at the end of the first quarter, Jim, we had very poor field position down on our own 13-yard line, and Chad hits Jason, and we're driving the football. A great throw and a great catch here in traffic.
There wasn't much room for that.
Yeah,
there wasn't much room for that throw.
No, there wasn't. But here, you've always told me to never take points off the board, but Jim, I wasn't listening to you. And
which is something that's normal.
No, really. Well, I think, I was concerned, anytime you take points off and you turn it over, you lose an opportunity. But Brian Thompson, who's having a wonderful year as our fullback, made the catch for the touchdown there.
21-7 at this point. Then they come back and they complete 2 passes on 3rd and long.
Our defense got really good down and distance situations. Gary's got a little bit too long to throw. We're in man coverage, but we've got good effort, good pursuit to the football during the entire course of the day, and that's what I liked about our defense. Kalkrick runs it in from 1 for a touchdown, and 21-14.
And then they get the ball back, and they make the biggest play of the game for them.
Well, when you throw that screen, that flanker screen, and you're in man coverage, we were blitzing them because we felt like we could get to them. They had the perfect call, and they executed perfectly, and certainly that's something you don't want to do when you get the lead towards the end of the first half.
Well, here right before the half, though, and I thought this was an important drive to get on the board just before half and take the lead back.
Jim, it was a very important drive because it kept the Michigan State offense off the field, and we had an opportunity to get some points on the board. There's Mike Hart on a big 3rd down run and 4th down run, I guess. And we didn't give them the ball back, got 3 points. So I thought that end of the half drive there was very significant.
I think there was close to 500 yards total offense, both teams. Going to the locker room in half, what was your thinking to talk to the team about?
Well, I really liked the way we were playing from an intensity standpoint. I thought we had a lot of good tackling. We had done a good job containing Stanton. Even though we had given up 21 points, I felt good about the fact that our offense had the ball, we had controlled the ball, and kept their offense off the field. We were scoring points.
We'll be back and take a look at the exciting second half. But first, we hear from Alan Branch talking about the defense is gelling at the right time.
We're coming along real well. I think we're finally getting get the D-line, get the linebackers and the DBs all play as a team. We were all doing good in different areas, but now today I think we all came together and did a good job.
The locker room.
We weren't ranked. We were 2-2. Michigan State's number 11. averaging 600 yards a game. Our defense isn't that good. Our offense is weak right now. We just came out here and we wanted to prove everyone wrong. We did a great job. I think that just gave us motivation. It was motivation. We knew we had to come out here and prove the country wrong.
Well, Mike Hart did a good job of proving a lot of folks wrong with a great day that he had. But opening the second half, you got the three-point lead, and it didn't go right off the top like you wanted it, did it? It didn't go the entire quarter the way we wanted it to, Jim. And you got to give Michigan State some credit for that. But we came out here, and now Chad makes a bad read, throws an interception. They got the ball deep in our own territory.
But this is a huge defensive stand here.
It may have been the biggest stand of the entire day because the momentum, they tie the game up instead of taking a lead, which they would have done with a touchdown. So it was a great stop in a tough situation for our defense.
And throughout the quarter now, your offense isn't able to get going. And this is a huge drive they start to put together. 13, 15 plays or something, and they start moving the ball late.
Well, Jim, there again, you saw good tackling. You saw people around the football. But they put together a great drive. There's a great hit by Behringer, who played lights out in this game. Here we let the ball outside the defense, got to get off the block there. But it is a long drive, and I was beginning to be concerned about our defense being on the field too
How about
long.
this 3rd and 4 stop, though?
Well, we got the whole right side of our defense over there. Good. We didn't get knocked off the ball there and forced them to try a field goal, and that would have given them the lead.
That is a huge turnaround right there. It looks like they for sure are going to get the lead. And then your next possession, Mike Hart makes him pay.
Well, I think this is one of the real big plays in a game where there were a lot of big plays. But a well-blocked play there, and we changed the field position. And that's something that we create an opportunity there for Hart to score a touchdown bouncing it outside.
And what a run that was. Lost his balance, but was able to stay up and get into the end zone.
Amazing thing how he leaped forward. You know, it's just a great individual play.
And again, here's a wonderful job by your defense.
Well, we got a lot of people here. We missed a tackle there. Pat Massey, I called him Tim earlier, Pat Massey. I apologize, Pat. But great pursuit to the ball here on a big 3rd down play. Now we're using the clock. We put together a great drive here.
And this is the most controversial play of the game. Is it an incomplete pass or a fumble?
Well, Jim, that's I'm sure when it's a difficult call. My understanding of the rule is in college football, if the arm goes forward, it's a pass. I think that what will happen as a result of this, we'll at least have some clarification on we do not have presently, to my knowledge, the NFL rule, the tuck rule. Yeah.
Well, that ties the game up as Picto takes that fumble recovery as it was ruled all the way back, ties it up at 31. Then you go on a drive late in the 4th to win the game.
Well, this is a major play right there, 4th and inches. Leo Hennigy gets up in the hole. Brian Thompson, we get a well-blocked play, maintain possession, and force Michigan State to use their last 2 timeouts and miss the field goal. And that's not very often this kid misses a field goal.
And the emotions had to be way up and now way down. But you go on defense in the first overtime, and you make some great plays.
Well, Leon Hall here had this ball in his hands for a second. A great individual effort. Again, we had Stanton contained and kept him in the pocket. Here again, we got great pressure, but he's not outside. And Morgan Trent, he'll be thinking about that play for many years to come because I think he would have scored a touchdown. So we hold them and force a field goal attempt.
And their field goal goes wide right, just barely, but wide right. Now you have the ball, and you make one play here to get 8-9 yards out of it, or 6 yards, and then you send Garrett Rivas in on 3rd down.
Well, you know, the thing that never entered my mind, I had not thought about being in a situation in overtime. Normally you're down 3-0 or 7-0, but I have a lot of confidence. Our entire team has a lot of confidence in Garrett Rivas, and he made a big kick with great field goal protection. You can't discount the job those guys up front because they had 11 guys coming.
And the snap and the hold.
And the whole thing. Turner Booth and Matt Gutierrez. I mean, that is a team play.
And again, you talked about how you were looking at the coverage and you were looking at the pressure and all that other stuff. But when that ball went through and the referees held their hands up, kind of what went through your mind as you were running across the field?
Well, you know, this is a special game. It always has been and always will be. And to be a part of a game that was as hard fought as that, and to have a group of kids who fought their hearts out. I mean, only a coach here or a player knows how difficult it's been, because we're all disappointed in some things, and yet to be able to not stay down. You know, you can either, when you go down, Jim, you can take the count, or you can get up on your feet and fight back.
Get up off the deck.
Get off the deck. That's your naval background.
No, that's my boxing background. The other thing it helps, I think, is confidence. This team needed a confidence boost. This win, because of their good play, gave them, I think, that confidence boost.
Well, Jim, I think the big thing is obviously the return of Michael Hart. He's such a great football player, and I think he makes everybody around him. And you know, our offense really responded, and our defense, you know, I don't look at, you can't necessarily look at statistics anymore. But against an outstanding, talented offensive football team, they did a lot of great things today.
Did indeed. And when we come back, we will scout next week's opponent, the Minnesota Golden Gophers. But first, we hear from Garrett Rivas and Pierre Woods about the winning kick and what lies ahead.
I knew I didn't have another restart button to hit. Luckily, I got another chance. And, you know, we had a good operation. Everything was there. The defense made a great play, 3 real good plays there to stop them. And, you know, I got an opportunity.
Definitely don't let down. We got to come out. We got to practice hard. You know, Minnesota going to come in and want to run the ball. So we got to stay off the ground, because you know they gonna cut and everything like that, and just be prepared for them.
The locker room.
We got to enjoy this win tonight, and then watch the film tomorrow, and then start preparing for Minnesota, because the games I've watched, they got a high-powered offense, and their defense is damn good too. So we got to have just as much preparation as we did for state. So I'm hoping this will continue, and you know, it's a great win. We'll enjoy it, but we got to look ahead next week too. So
next week, there's always a next week, it seems like, in college football. And while this is a great victory over Michigan State Saturday, back into the Big Ten fires you go.
Well, that's the way it is, Jim. When you look across the country, you know, every week somebody's getting beat that maybe wasn't the favorite or whatever, you know, so it's a different deal.
And you take on Minnesota, the battle for the Little Brown Jug, one of your favorite trophies in college football. Glenn Mason's got a team that basically loves to run the ball.
Well, very few teams will run it any better than Minnesota. Going into the game on Saturday with Penn State, they were leading the nation in rushing. And Maroney is an All-American candidate, a guy that got great speed, but he looks much bigger and stronger this year. And Glenn always finds a way to come up with more than one guy that can run the football, and he's done that again.
Usually you think of Marion Barber, well, now it's Greg Russell.
Yeah, Greg Russell's having a wonderful beginning. He's only a sophomore.
And as a receiver goes, Cupido's a little better throwing than they've had in the past. And he throws to Jared Ellerson, who you say has been there forever.
Well, it seems like 20 years, Bob. But Ellerson is a big play guy, and Caputo off play action has been successful, hitting a lot of big plays.
Steve Davis, the defensive end they got. This guy is a freshman who is making a lot of plays for him. Middle linebacker Mike Sherrills, and then strong safety Brandon Owens are their 3 big guys on defense.
Jim, I watched the Purdue-Minnesota game last week, and I was impressed with how hard this Minnesota team played against a spread-type team. And so they're a test. The Little Brown Jug, as you know, the oldest trophy in college football. So we got Paul Bunyan. If we got Paul Bunyan back home, we got to keep the Jug another year.
If I didn't know, I know you were going to tell me about the Jug.
I was going to ask you how it was playing back in the early
back in the
years
days before
that.
they didn't have the Jug, right? The big thing, and Penn State proved it, if you stop the run, and that's the key, I think, in this game from a standpoint of how you prepare and look at beating Minnesota, you've got to stop Maroney.
Well, anytime you can take somebody's strength away, it increases your chances to win. And certainly Minnesota, 2 outstanding returning all Big Ten linemen. they can run the football. They ran it extremely well against us 2 years ago. They had a big play against us a year ago. So they're a dangerous football team.
Their blocking schemes, too, are the thing that I think create problems for a lot of teams defensively. You like the way they're committed to running the ball. Well, their offensive line's committed to blocking you.
They're going to try to outnumber you. And, Jim, when you're outnumbered, what they want to do is chop the perimeter of the defense and get you on the ground. And so we need a great week of practice, using our hands, staying on our feet. When you watch that game Saturday, if you see a lot of Michigan defenders on the ground, then they're going to give up a lot of yards.
And offensively, just continuing on. Mike Hart helps you, but you need to kind of improve and tweak the offense a little bit going in.
Well, I think we'll come out of this with some confidence, certainly. But we've got a long way to go. We've got a lot of improvements to make, but our morale will be better, I can assure you that.
Well, it should be a dandy. It's the battle for the Little Brown Jug next week. Be sure and join us right here, same time, same place on Michigan.